we have leaked video from a recent Adobe company-wide meeting from the CEO of Adobe and the Chief People Officer of Adobe, that's a real job, announcing to all employees across the company worldwide that they would be ending some of their diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring practices and programs. We talked about this news last week, but now we've got video of the whole gosh darn thing. I'm gonna walk through the whole thing with you. It's only about 9 minutes long, and some of it is brain dead, dull corporate platitudes, but there's some real juicy, ridiculous bits in here that made me laugh out loud multiple times. I'm going to walk you through the whole gosh darn thing. Let's see. Let me scale back here a little bit. Let me get to the right spot. There we go. All right. So this is Gloria Chen, the Chief People Officer from Adobe, to the whole gosh darn company.
Evening, everyone. And I just want to say, when I see those the Firefly video model, I love the little dancing yarn guys. Okay, so
she loves the little dancing yarn guys. She loves the yarn guys.
Today, I wanted to address a topic that may be top of mind for many of you, and that is diversity, equity, and inclusion,
Here we
DEI.
go.
I think it's an understatement to say that a lot has been going on in the last 2 months. We're hearing so much in the headlines about the U.S. government policies and orders that it's sometimes hard to keep track of what's happening and what it all means. Just about every day, there's new information and direction coming at us on many.
See, I reported last week the key driving factor of the DEI changes at a lot of these companies, Adobe included, are the executive orders from President Trump. They're really driving a lot of these changes, and you see them talking about it here coming from the executives at Adobe.
Different fronts. To give you a sense, there have been over 100 new executive orders issued, and about as many that have been rescinded. And these orders lead to policy changes from federal agencies, all of which we as a company have to pay attention to. Wearing both my hats from a legal and employee experience perspective, I can say we are in unprecedented moment in terms of the pace and the fluidity of change.
So much fluidity.
But if there's one thing I know, it's that in times of uncertainty and change, we turn to our values. It's what grounds us.
Now here's where, pay attention to this, because now for the next just couple moments, the Chief People Officer and an executive vice president at Adobe is going to begin laying out platitudes. Is going to be laying out how much they love diversity and inclusion, and it's core to who they are, and that's not changing, right? She's buttering people up for the bad news. That's what's happening right now, and you can watch this happen in real time as she tries to butter up the employees of across all of Adobe.
It's who we are, and it's what we'll be doing now. I'm leading a core team of people who are carefully reviewing all of the orders and directives from the U.S. government, with the help of outside legal experts as well, to interpret what this means for Adobe, our business, and our people. And I want to share with you a bit about how we're thinking about things. Our values state very clearly,
their values.
The ability to be yourself is core to who we are. We embrace.
That's the most ridiculous statement. The ability to be yourself is core to who we are. To start with, they're the Photoshop company. I don't know that that's core to who they are, but also what company is out there who we demand that you not be yourself. That's core to who we are. Like, could you imagine like Microsoft coming out and be like, one of our core values is that you cannot be who you are. That's core to who we are. Like that's. Right, it's a statement that means absolutely nothing, but sounds really good and pro diversity. Right, that's why they make that statement. It means nothing.
And respect diversity. Adobe for All is in our DNA. It's been true since John and Chuck founded the company over 40 years ago. It's our belief in creating a company culture where all employees can have an impact, that great ideas come from anywhere. And when people are respected and included, they are more creative, innovative, and successful. And on top of that, the wealth of unique perspectives and experiences that the totality of our employees bring to the table is what fuels our innovation, our ability to serve the diversity of customers around the world, and ultimately our business growth. We live Adobe for all so that we can power creativity for all.
Again, you notice that meant nothing, right? She's not talking about official policies, measurable or quantifiable things that are occurring. It's just fluff. She's just getting people like feeling like, oh, Adobe really cares. Like that's all this is about.
This shows up in how we interact with each other, how we operate, and the many programs that we invest in. We have always been committed to fair employment practices. And because the how is as important as the what at Adobe, our values are deeply embedded into how we hire, develop, retain, and promote employees. We expect and help managers and employees to practice respectful and inclusive behaviors with all employees, because that's how great ideas can come from anywhere. And that's what contributes to high-impact teams.
Respectful and inclusive behaviors, right? We're not talking about hard rules. We're not talking about hard policies. We're not talking about hiring quotas anymore. It's just having good behavior, right? Meaning nothing, right? It's stuff it's fluff. It's irrelevant. Notice that? Now she's been buttering you up for a bit. You can feel that we're getting close to when the other shoe drops, right?
We create opportunities for engagement, connection, and learning through our employee networks, site councils, and the cultural moments that we sponsor for all to participate in, like Women's History Month, which we're just wrapping up. And we're actively working on expanding our inclusive communities. We power creativity for all by building accessible products and extending our reach to communities around the world through programs like Adobe for Nonprofits, Creative Campuses, and Adobe Digital Academy. And we help you amplify your personal impact by supporting your volunteer efforts and matching donations to the communities and causes that you care about.
Okay.
And because we believe in the power of storytelling to contribute to a culture of belonging, we come together every year to celebrate Adobe for All. And today, I'm excited to share the date for this year's Adobe for All Days, kicking off September 16th.
Adobe for All.
These are the many things, not all of them, but many things that we do to live Adobe for All. But at the same time, we have a duty to operate within the boundaries of the laws in all the countries where we operate. And we're always reviewing and updating.
We have a duty to operate within the boundaries of the law. Notice that? Boom. She hits it. Okay, we're a couple minutes in. Buttering up period is over. We have a duty to operate within the boundaries of the law. Here's where the actual change starts to come.
Our practices to ensure that we're in compliance. For
Compliance.
now, many things will stay the same, the things that I was talking about.
Many things will stay the same. The things that she was talking about. Now, what was she talking about? She was talking about people loving diversity and inclusion and people having good feelings and behaviors. And they definitely will have an Adobe for All days, right? Almost meaningless. No, we're not talking about policies. We're not talking about quotas. We're not talking about things that are measurable and definable under the law, right? So the stuff she was talking about won't change, but the stuff she was talking about is throwaway fluff. What is she talking about?
But some things will change.
Some things will change.
And that's just me being genuine with you.
Okay, hold on. We need to rewind that because that's just too fantastic. Hold on a second. We're going to go back just a couple of seconds here.
The same, the things that I was talking about. But some things will change. And that's just me being genuine with you.
Some things will change. And that's just me being genuine with you. Well, thank you, Gloria Chen, the Chief People Officer at Adobe, for just being genuine with me right now. Because I'm going to tell you right now, everything you've said up until now has seemed real genuine. But okay, some things will change, and that's just her being genuine with me.
We're evaluating our programs, activities, and practices, and we'll work together with the owners to make any needed changes and to communicate them. We've never hired based on quotas or goals, but going forward, we will discontinue the practice of setting aspirational representation goals.
I'm going to repeat that right now because that was one of the best sentences I've ever heard in my life. Quote, "We have never hired based on quotas or goals, but going forward, we will discontinue the practice of setting aspirational representation goals." In other words, we have never broken the law by having diversity hiring quotas, but going forward, we're going to discontinue the illegal practice of having diversity hiring quotas. Wow. Holy heavens. Are you kidding me here? It's just fantastic.
While continuing our focus on fair and consistent hiring practices. Mm-hmm. And we are updating our language to reflect our focus on Adobe for All, starting with adobe.com and soon inside Adobe.
Right, language changing. I've heard a bit of this.
I know for some of you, this is a lot to process. And as you do, I want you to take away 3 things.
Okay, 3 things. Here we go.
First, while some programs and policies are changing, our commitment to Adobe for All and our values do not change. Second, as a company, we have embraced reinvention and change over the years, always being thoughtful and always being very grounded in our human-centered values as we make changes.
Human-centered values.
Second, we are a great place to work, and that's because of all of you. And while I'm proud of all that Adobe offers and the words on this slide and the programs that I talked about, make no mistake, it's because of every one of you, how you show up, the way we interact with each other, the way we engage that contributes to creating this culture every single day. And I want to thank you all for that.
You're welcome.
And third, as you've heard from all of the things that were presented today, we have a tremendous opportunity ahead of us in every single part of our business. And so it's important that we come together to continue to live Adobe for All so that we can power creativity for all.
And as they say over and over again, we've got to live Adobe for All. It sounds very religious-y. It's very strange. Like Adobe for All is their religious belief, and we have to live it every day. That's part of who we are as human beings, as Adobe for All. That's bizarre. It's a little weird.
So with that, I want to thank you, and I want to bring E-Team up for Q&A.
Okay, I'm gonna move forward a couple of seconds. They're getting ready for their Q&A here. I'm moving forward a little bit here to about this spot. And the reason I'm jumping forward a little bit is because during this presentation, this live stream company meeting they had, they're playing some music that's copyrighted music. And if I play it in here, I don't have permission from the copyright owner to play that in here. So I'm just going to skip forward. You're not missing any of the dialogue. So what's happened now is a lot of their executive team, including the guy you see in front of you right now, that is the CEO of Adobe, Shantanu Narayan, who is up there on stage. The Chief People Officer, Gloria Chen's there, along with some of the rest of the executive staff.
Gloria said, because I think this is not just an HR or a legal thing, it's core to who we stand as a company. Certainly, I've been here over 25 years, and I believe in the Adobe for All, and that's not going to change. This is not about trying to...
He believes in the Adobe for All. Again, they couch this as a religious belief, which is a little weird.
There have been a lot of questions about, is this about doing federal government contracts? This is about the law and complying with the law in this country.
The law.
So that's point 2. Third, it's nuanced and it's changing. As Gloria said, Jace and others have been educating even me on the 100 executive orders, and so we'll all continue to spend time on that.
Executive orders. This comes up time and time again. I've been hearing the same things from the executive teams from leaks that I'm getting from meetings with the executive teams at IBM and Red Hat as well. The executive orders from President Trump is overwhelmingly the catalyst that's causing a lot of these changes. I mean, while there have been a lot of pushback from employees within Adobe and IBM and Red Hat and many other companies against these DEI programs, and they have had meetings to talk about them and to debate them and whatnot internally, no movement has occurred until those executive orders hit. And once those executive orders hit, the dominoes are falling like really, really fast across the board. There's just no denying that is the chief reason for a lot of this. And Adobe repeats this over and over again in their meeting with their employees here.
And fourth, and I think perhaps most important, trust that the team that's focused on this, Gloria, the legal team, are taking this with the seriousness that it needs to, and that we will do the right thing. And at the end of the day, all I can ask for is trust. Either you trust that this is going to happen, or you don't. And I'm convinced that the team is doing the right thing. We will do the right thing, but we will also comply with the laws. And that's just a part of being a good corporate citizen that we have to.
We will comply with the law. That's part of being a good corporate citizen that we have to, right?
And as Gloria said, so things will change as well. Some programs, if they're outlawed or they're illegal in this country, we will comply with the law.
If programs are outlawed or illegal in the United States, they will comply with the law, right? See, this is what we're talking about. They're not changing so they're changing some of the language, but what they're really changing are measurable policies like hiring quotas that were distinctly illegal, right? And they're changing those. And again, I'm going to repeat this quote: "We have never hired based on quotas, but going forward, we will discontinue the practice." Quote.
We have to.
You do. You absolutely have to. So there we go. That was it. So I want to thank the whistleblower from inside Adobe who brought this one to my attention. Absolutely could not have done this without you. He was truly appreciate it. And here's a crowd shot. I wanted to pull this up real quick so you could see it here. Here's a crowd shot at the Adobe headquarters of people sitting in the audience, but they live streamed this out across all of the Adobe campuses. And there was apparently a live thing where people could ask questions and comment on it online as it was going. We published two of those comments from Adobe employees last week where they were clearly unhappy. And I asked the whistleblower, what the impression was generally inside of Adobe. And what I was told by this whistleblower was that, maybe there's like 10% of Adobe employees that are just really ticked off about this, right? They're really mad about losing some of the DEI practices and some of the DEI hiring quotas and all these sorts of things. They're upset about it. They're screaming because there's, oh my gosh, this is kowtowing to fascists and Trump is bad and executive orders are not laws and blah, 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 right? But the rest of the employees, it sounds like, just kind of want to do their job and are just kind of keeping their heads down. That's a lot of what I'm hearing. And so these changes really do seem to be occurring. The folks that are the DEI activists inside Adobe, they all believe that these changes are occurring and that these changes moving away from diversity are truly terrible. And you could see with the CEO and the chief people officer here, two executives from Adobe, they're clearly concerned, right? You could see it on his face. Let me pop forward here. You could see it on the face of the CEO. You could see it in the nervousness of the chief people officer and how they phrased everything. Most of the talk was about buttering up the employees. See, we still love DEI stuff. We're just not going to call it DEI, and we're going to get rid of everything that is measurable about DEI, right? So everything like hiring practices, the illegal stuff, right? And so what they're left with is what they call Adobe for all, which kind of just seems like an almost religious belief that Adobe loves all people or something like that. I'm not 100% certain. But again, thank you to the whistleblower for getting this out to the Lunduke Journal so it could be published. I truly appreciate it. Sunlight is always the best disinfectant. So getting this all out there in the public, I think is incredibly valuable. If any news outlets out there want a copy of this video, I do have copies that I can provide you. So contact me. Go to lunduke.com. You can find my contact information there. You can email me and get a hold of me, and I would be more than willing to help share some of this information out. We've got a lot more whistleblower material that's going to be published over the coming weeks from not just Adobe and not just IBM and Red Hat, but many other companies, Microsoft and Amazon and several others as well. So I really appreciate all of the whistleblowers who have taken the risk and the effort and put in the effort and the time to come forward and provide some of this stuff, because again, this is so critical to get out there. And it's nice to see it. Like this video is exceptionally interesting because it's nice to see it from coming from the horse's mouth, so to speak, right? From the executives themselves, to see their body language, to see their choice of language and how they speak and how they present this information to their employees. It tells us just a mountain of information about what things are like within Adobe, where the executive's headspace is at, how they're interpreting the laws and the executive orders that are coming down right now. It's incredibly beneficial. So thank you again. Go to lunduke.com, click on all the links. If you want to become a whistleblower, there's an entire page dedicated to that at lunduke.com, where you can see how to become a tech whistleblower. If you see something shady or just something that needs to be public, like this snippet from the internal company meeting at Adobe, go there and get a hold of the Lunduke Journal. We will get that published. And as always, we will always protect your identity and confidentiality. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, I do declare end broadcast.